We did it! We reached my 2020 goal of 10,000 subscribers here on the Full 90. Bravo! I just want to say congratulations, well done to all of you, because this is all you're doing. This isn't my doing. I just sit here, make the videos that I've been doing for the last couple of years, talking about football, giving my predictions, and you guys are always getting involved, and I absolutely love it. So please do, before we go any further, drop your Champions League Game Week 1 predictions down in the comments below, and one that catches my eye will be featured in the next episode of the Champions League predictions, because the fixtures are coming thick and fast due to what happened, of course, this year and over the summer. The fixture list is a lot more compacted, so there's a lot of action to get to. So we're not going to delay any further. Please do drop a like. It really does help support me and the channel. Once again, thank you so much for 10,000 subscribers, and let's kick it off with Zenit St. Petersburg up against Club Brugge. Now, before I say anything else, in the Premier League, I do more in-depth analysis of each game, and I do give a betting tip for each game. With the Champions League, certainly in the group stages, I won't be doing that, but certainly when it gets to the knockout stages, I will think about adding tips to that as well. But Zenit St. Petersburg versus Club Brugge. Club Brugge, they're in very good form. Again, it's domestically. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this in this video, but it is true. Club Brugge, every team that's not, a blockbuster team that you might not expect, they are always doing well in their domestic league, apart from actually Istanbul. But nevertheless, they are bottom of the league, I'm pretty sure. But Zenit St. Petersburg, Club Brugge, they're both doing well domestically. I just think Zenit are slightly better than Club Brugge. Maybe at home, Brugge could give them a good game, get a win, 2-1, 2-0, something like that. But I think in Russia, Zenit St. Petersburg are going to get the job done and win this one 2-1. Next up is underdog Dynamo Kiev up against Juventus. I don't know what the state of the Juve team is going to be by the time this fixture rolls around, because I'm recording this the week before, Friday the 16th. I don't know if Ronaldo is back, because obviously he had the virus, so I don't know what sort of situation Juve's team is going to be in. Fortunately, they are up against Dynamo Kiev, who they should be strong enough to defeat, so I'm going to go for a simple enough 2-0 away win to Juventus. Now, next up, it is Barcelona up against Ferencvarosi. I'm going to pronounce that name so many times wrong, so I'll just go with that. I think Barcelona, this is going to be an absolute killing. I'm being quite subdued with my prediction here, and I'm going to say 4-0 to Barcelona, but it could be way worse. I think I really just stamp a statement on the Champions League, because obviously, in my opinion, again, Bayern Munich are still the favourites whilst they have defensive issues. Bayern Munich are clearly the favourites, so teams like Barcelona, City, they're going to want to make statements as early as possible, like Bayern did last year when they won every single game. So there's no room for error if you want to make that sort of statement. I think Barcelona are going to win this one convincingly. Next up, it was a very tough game to predict. It is Chelsea up against Sevilla, and I have no idea how this game is going to end. I originally predicted Chelsea to get a home win, but I cannot look past Sevilla's form as of late. They took it to, I believe, extra time against Bayern Munich in the Super Cup final. They beat Inter Milan in the Europa League final, and I don't believe they've lost in their previous 10 away fixtures. So whilst Chelsea are, in my opinion, a better team, and I think across the long haul they're going to end up performing better in the Champions League, just with the pure amount of talent that they've invested in and still have in the squad. I think Sevilla are going to pose some troubles. They've had a good start to La Liga, winning all their games except for one, which was a draw with Barcelona away from home, which again, you can't look past that. That's a very good record. So I was going to go for a 2-1 win to Chelsea, but I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. Typically, Sevilla games have been in past seasons quite low scoring, but recently there's been a few more goals in there. Sevilla look a little bit more threatening going forward, and Chelsea as well. There's always goals in Chelsea games this season, so I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, but that's a tough one in my opinion. Next up, another tough one. It really doesn't get easier. It is Lazio up against Borussia Dortmund. I think Dortmund are going to win this game. I think they're in similar sorts of shape. Borussia Dortmund having the odd dodgy performance here and there. Lazio the same. I believe Lazio got absolutely thumped by Atalanta in Serie A. I just think overall as a squad, Borussia Dortmund's squad is slightly younger, a little bit more exciting, and I think they're going to do just enough to get an away win. This is not an absolute certainty. Lazio could win this game 100%, but I'm going to back Borussia Dortmund away from home in this one, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to the Germans. Now, after that, we have PSG up against Manchester United. Now, like I said at the time recording, it's the week before. PSG haven't played their League 1 game, and Manchester United haven't played their Premier League game against Newcastle. I don't know how that's going to go. It's very difficult to know what sort of squad they're going to put out recording this far in advance, but we'll make do with it. You guys watching this video will know the results of the PSG and Man United games in their respective leagues because I'm uploading this on Sunday, but I'm recording it on a Friday. I think PSG are going to win this one. Maybe it'll be I was going to say maybe it'd be a different story at Old Trafford, but then again, Man United's record at Old Trafford is not good. Their away record is better than their home record, and it's been that way for large periods of time under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, whether they're playing well or bad. They seem to do much better away from home. But I think PSG will be wise to Manchester United this time. And unlike other clubs we've mentioned who are having sort of virus troubles within their squad now, PSG's COVID struggle came earlier on in the season. Neymar, Mbappe and everyone else was already out and are now back in the team. So PSG should be at a much better strength. So I think they're going to get the win. And I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Paris in this fixture. Now, coming up after that, we have RB Leipzig up against Istanbul Basaksehir. And as I said, Istanbul have started off their season terribly. They're right down in the bottom of the table. They might even be bottom of the league. And that's in their domestic league, which of course they did well enough in to get to this stage of the European competition. Leipzig are going to walk this game. And I'm going to go for a 3-0 win to the Germans in this one. Coming up after this one, it is Rennes up against Krasnodar. And I believe this game is going to be lower scoring. Rennes have had a really good start to Ligue 1, and I think they're going to try their best, of course, to get the win here. This is a very, very important fixture for them, and they need to ensure if they want to progress in this competition, they have to be taking 3 points from Krasnodar here, and I'm going to back them to just about manage it with a 1-0 home victory. After this, there could be some fireworks. It is FC Salzburg up against Lokomotiv Moscow. I'm always tuning in to European leagues, especially the teams that are in the European competitions this year, and my oh my, do Salzburg love scoring a lot of goals. I think Lokomotiv Moscow are decent. They've made good accounts of themselves in the Champions League in recent years. They had I think they beat Real Madrid in the group stage. That was a real shock, but I just don't see them getting past an absolutely insane Salzburg attack, and I'm going to go for a convincing home win to Salzburg, 3-1. Now, next up, we have Real Madrid and Shakhtar Donetsk. Shakhtar, I believe last year, were very, very close to making the knockout stages, but then Atalanta just did an absolute madness in the latter half of the group stage, going from 0 points from 3 games to qualifying for the knockout stages. Shakhtar Donetsk are a force to be reckoned with. Certainly domestically, in the Ukrainian league, they always perform exceptionally well. They score a lot of goals, they win efficiently, but this is a different kind of game, isn't it? It's Real Madrid. It's not Ukraine. It is going to be a very, very tough trip for them. However, I think they're going to cause some problems. Much like Manchester City, I feel like Real Madrid at home in the group stage, just, you never really know what you're going to get. Real Madrid are an odd team like that. So I think it's going to be an interesting game, a close game. I think both teams will score, but ultimately, I think Real Madrid will do what is necessary to get the 3 points that they should expect to get in this fixture. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Real Madrid. Now, the next fixture is going to be very, very tough to predict. It could have been the final of the Champions League a couple of years ago, if not for a few little things that happened. It is Ajax up against Liverpool, and I originally predicted this as a draw. Liverpool's away record in the group stage, certainly by a team that you'd expect to qualify and a team that has obviously done very well in the Champions League, by all accounts is not very good at all. They don't win often away from home in the Champions League, but it's the Fortress Anfield that sees them qualify, and then the Fortress Anfield that continues to see them do well over 2 legs in the Champions League. So I think this is going to be a very, very tough match. I originally predicted a 1-1 draw. Ajax aren't in electric scoring form like they have been in previous couple of years. They've been a little bit up and down, much like Liverpool, who have been a little bit hit and miss. Really, I'm just referencing the 7-2 loss to Aston Villa, and this is their first... Well, it'll be their first fixture after the Merseyside derby, the result of which I don't know, since the 7-2 defeat. So I don't know in what sort of shape Liverpool are going to be going into this game. I don't really know if Alisson's going to be back. I don't know if Mane will be playing. There's question marks to be had here, so this could go either way. I was originally going to predict a draw, but I think finally Liverpool are going to get an away win. Almost when it's less expected of them to do so, and they'd certainly be happy with a point away from home, because their main goal is just to not lose away from home in the group stage, because, I mean, they lost 2-0 to Salzburg a couple of years ago in the... No, it wasn't Salzburg, it was Red Star Belgrade. They lost to Red Star Belgrade 2-0 in the group stage away from home, so they really don't travel that well. They lost to Napoli, I'm pretty sure. But for some reason, I just think they're going to win. It's one of those predictions that doesn't really align with the statistics and, I guess, the form. If Ajax were absolutely dominating their home league, I'd probably give them more credit here. I'm going to go for a 2-1 away win to Liverpool, but this is certainly a game to keep an eye on. Ajax could definitely pick up all 3 points in this fixture. The next one is Bayern Munich up against Atletico Madrid. Atleti, they sometimes have the classic Atleti low-scoring games. They sometimes score a lot of goals all of a sudden. It's very up and down, but with Bayern Munich, the one thing you can guarantee is usually a lot of goals. But I mean, that being said, against better teams, like against Atletico Madrid, who sort of pride themselves on their defense, I could easily see Bayern Munich winning this one 2-0. But I think Atletico Madrid will think, if we're going to get anything out of this game against Bayern Munich, we have to score. And we have to try and score multiple goals if we want to get something out of this game. And I think that will play into the hands of Bayern Munich, who will then be able to take advantage of that. This could easily be very high scoring. And I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Bayern, especially if Bayern get a goal in the first 25 minutes or something like that. This could be very high scoring. However, if Atletico Madrid take an early lead, this could easily be a 1-1, 2-1 either way situation. But I think Bayern will come out of the blocks absolutely rapid, and I think it's going to be a 3-1 win to Bayern Munich. The next game is Inter Milan up against Borussia Mönchengladbach, and I was quite quick to decide this one. I think Inter Milan have been looking fairly good recently, and Mönchengladbach are a decent team. They always perform fairly well in Germany. They're sometimes a little bit up and down as far as their results go, but on the whole, they're a decent team. I would say sort of like a Europa League standard team, and that's where I can see them going this year. But I'm going to go for an Inter Milan win, and I'm going to keep it fairly simple at a 2-0 win. Next up is Manchester City up against Porto. Porto, they look fairly decent. They always look good domestically. Manchester City, a little bit up and down. Porto did have a shock defeat in the league, if I'm not mistaken. I think they lost 3-2. And Man City, of course, they drew 1-1 with Leeds and lost 5-2 to Leicester. So they're in similar positions here, but Man City certainly are the favourites to win this game. And I think they are going to win this game at home. I think both teams will score, and I think it will be closer than you may think. I don't know the status of De Bruyne's injury or Aguero's or anything like that at this moment in time, but Man City should just about have the quality to get this win here, but I'm not entirely certain, and Porto could definitely shock some people here. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 home win to Manchester City. Coming up after that, we have Midtjylland up against Atalanta. Atalanta absolutely storming it in the Serie A, and Midtjylland, they're Midtjylland. They're doing all right. They're doing fairly well for themselves, winning quite a few games, but this is just a different level. Atalanta can't seem to keep a clean sheet, really, mostly because they're so all-out attack. They can almost just sacrifice a couple of goals. It's almost as if they go into the game with a -2 handicap mindset. They think, it doesn't really matter how well we defend. Let's just do what we do and score 3 or more goals. And that's how I see this game going. Because Midtjylland, the games last season tended to be lower scoring, but this season we're seeing a trend, as we're seeing in a lot of leagues, where there are more goals in their games. And that plays into the hands of Atalanta beautifully. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 away win to Atalanta. I was tempted to go for a 4-2. But I went for 3-1 in the end. The next game, one of the tougher ones to predict, it is Olympiacos up against Marseille. Olympiacos have been performing very well lately, getting 1-0 wins, 2-0 wins, doing what they need to do to maintain a good run of form and stay at the top of the Greece league. Marseille, whilst they're a decent team, they're struggling to really get over the line in terms of results. I think the last 3 games they've played have seen a 1-1 draw, and whilst they did do well to get a 1-1 draw against Lyon, playing with 10 men for 70 plus minutes of the game, they, like I said, can't seem to close out a result, and going away to Olympiacos is no mean feat. You cannot underestimate Olympiacos' home strength. So I think this is going to be a very, very close game. If I had to pick a favourite, I think at home, with the form they're currently in, I'd edge towards Olympiacos, but I'm going to err on the side of caution and make it another 1-1 draw for Marseille. So that is going to do it for my match week Game Week 1 predictions. It's a longer video with the Champions League predictions. There's a lot of games to go through, so it is a little bit shorter per game, but I do hope you did enjoy it. And if you appreciate the fact that I did this video without making any cuts, just because I did it off the cuff and somehow managed to nail it, then please do leave a like, leave your predictions down in the comments below, subscribe so you don't miss a single video, and I will see you in the next video for my Premier League predictions very soon.